518 Sports, it's a website that gives budding student journalists at smaller schools a voice. The site also gives their often overlooked smaller teams a platform. It's a great idea, and it was a 16-year-old who came up with it. A year ago, Dylan Rossiter went live with 518 Sports in the fall of his junior year of high school. And in order to thoroughly cover the area's teams, Dylan is now a fixture at area games, pro, college, high school. And finding the time in between getting his homework done doesn't provide Rossiter's only hurdle. He's also legally blind. Still, reading about Capital Region sports through Dylan's eyes, it's a pretty good way for anyone to stay up to date on what's happening in the 518. 518 Sports went online last October, so they're now just about a month away from your one-year anniversary. And the founder, managing editor of 518 Sports joins me here in studio. Dylan, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Kelly.
Are you able to track on the website hits, how many people are going there, and Twitter followers and that sort of thing, and kind of where you at?
Yeah, we're about 200 clicks a day, and we've got about, through all of our Twitter accounts and our networks, we've got about 20,000 followers, give or take.
20,000?
Yeah, it's big.
Could you have imagined 11 months ago you'd be where you are?
No, I didn't think we'd get 100, and now we've gotten as big as we are, and we continue to grow by the day, so maybe in a month we'll be even bigger.
What do you think has been the source, the ability for the site and the brand to take off the way it has?
Quite frankly, it's hyper-local coverage by students for students, and it's covering schools that might not necessarily get the most coverage. You know, your small, your C's, your D's, your B's, and just being there on social media too with the kids, it allows for us to simply have an audience of students, not necessarily people who watch TV at 10:30 at night or 11.
Take me back to when you first hatched the idea for this. When was it?
It was the spring of 2015 during baseball, softball season. I said, you know what? There's all this coverage, but there really isn't one central place, and there's no real student outlet here, and it's something we've seen grow throughout the country with other sites like your Fansided or your Bleacher Report. And I said, you know what? Let's try it here on the local level, and it's taken off tremendously well.
It must have seemed somewhat overwhelming or daunting at first.
Yeah, it did, especially when you look at Section 2, the size compared to some of the other sections throughout the state, and we try and hit everybody from Class AA all the way to Class D, but we found a way to make it work, and hopefully we'll continue to grow with top-notch coverage.
How many people do you have reporting for you?
Currently, we've got about 7 full-time guys throughout the area, and we also have a handful of people that come on every now and again and contribute, and anyone who's watching, feel free to come on over 518sports.com, 518sports-join the team, and you can apply, and we'll have you on here, and we'll work with you, and we'll make something great out of it.
How have you started to build that network? Because you can't promise them a juicy salary.
Yeah, nobody's making any money here. Anything that we make off of ad revenue goes right back into the site for maintenance and other stuff, and to hopefully help us grow even bigger in another year or so.
So what's your pitch to try and get them to join up?
Just that we've got an opportunity here. You know, we've got the ability to be part of a media outlet, and for kids, that's an awesome thing. You know, you can put your name out there, and it's all about marketing these days, and getting your name out there, and hopefully some college will see it, or maybe a future employer.
How much time do you put into, across all platforms, do you put into this per week, we'll say?
It's about 1-2 hours a day. On the weekends a little more, and it also depends on the season. I mean, come, you know, the meat and potatoes of high school basketball, it's a lot more work. But, you know, in the summer, we can kind of ease off the gas. You got the Valley Cats, Saratoga, and the PCGBL. So there's stuff going on throughout the year, but it's nice to have the summer to kind of coast off a little bit.
But then during football season, you're talking about 20-plus hours, we'll say, a week where you're working on this. It's a lot of time for somebody who's a senior in high school thinking about college and everything else you've got to do.
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, I'm in a program now. It's called New Visions. It's at the Times-Union. It's about 3 hours every single day, and there's a lot of work that goes with it, but a lot of it is done in the classroom, and it gives me the opportunity to experience all different parts of the media world. We're at St. Rose on Fridays. We blog for the Times-Union. It's really exciting, and it's allowed me to sort of do both, I guess you could say, and sort of be doing this a lot more often than I did last year as a junior.
When did you develop a passion for sports journalism?
You know, it's something that I've always had in the back of my mind, just journalism in general. I remember when I was 4, I would pretend to be one of the weather guys live on TV. and then, you know, my 8th grade year, I was like, well, you know, this is interesting. And then a few years later, we've launched this site here.
We got the green screen over there if you want to go try weather.
That's a possibility.
When you go out to games, and because you mentioned that the scope of Section 2, how are you able to, in such a short period of time, kind of immerse yourself into the Section 2 sports scene to be able to cover it as thoroughly as you and those working on the site do?
It's a lot of help from not just our writers, but the people in the community that send us scores every single night. Without them, it wouldn't be possible. And through social media, we've been able to put ourselves out there in a way that allows us to get the kind of traffic that we need to cover multiple schools.
Were you intimidated at all? Not about the scope of what you were taking on, but the fact that you want to be an equal player in this market, and you're working, elbow to elbow with the professionals.
Yeah, it's certainly overwhelmed, doesn't begin to say. When I started, it was like, oh yeah, we'll do this. And then a couple of days in, I was like, yeah, this is a lot of work. And but again, I think, grasping the digital age, we've got a couple partners on the site, we've got a live scoreboard and stuff, things that we have found ways to, work with, and it's allowed us to get to where we are now.
You're legally blind. Explain to us, if you can, what that means for you, because legally blind can cover a very wide spectrum, I guess. So what is your impairment like?
Okay, well, I've got X-linked retinal schisis, so my vision hovers around 22/400, and it's a challenge. It really is a challenge at certain games, and there's other sports that are easier than others. But I guess if I would describe it, it's like, you have a camera, and you zoom in and out. It's like zooming all the way out.
So when you're, say, at a baseball game and there's something happening in the outfield, can you not see it at all, or is it blurry?
It's blurry. It depends where it is, and a lot of it, what I tell, is based on PA announcers, crowd interactions, and other people around. And you can see people obviously running around the bases, so that helps too.
Is there anything you've encountered in life so far that, because of your impairment, you haven't been able to do that you would have wanted to do?
Not really. And that's partially because I've got great parents that are, willing to drive me places to do this. And without them, none of this would be possible. And I've got great friends and a great community behind me in Skodek.
Did anybody ever say to you that maybe, hey, you want to cover sports, but if you can't see it all that well, it's going to be difficult?
Yeah, it's certainly been expressed, and my answer to that is, listen, this is the way it is, and there's nothing I can do about it, so I'm going to go out and make the best of it.
And do you ever have people that kind of, give you a funny look or something like that in a press box that might not know your backstory?
Oh yeah, certainly. When my face is on top of the computer screen, you get a lot of weird looks, or you're like this with the phone. Right. But nobody says anything. Everybody's been very polite, and anybody that understands the situation is more than accommodating to help if I need anything.
Now, obviously, right now, it's your sports journalism. Your forte is in writing. You've got great pipes. You've heard that before, right? You must have. You got a great voice for this?
I had. A couple summers ago, I had the opportunity to intern with Siena College Radio, WVCR, and I've and it's allowed me to say, right now I'm blogging, but we want to make it more, and hopefully make it more multimedia. And you look at the industry now, and it's not just print, it's not just TV. Multiple outlets are doing multiple different things on different forms of media, and that's what we need to do to stay not necessarily competitive in the area, but stay with the times.
So do you think you'd like to do play-by-play, something, on camera, not just the writing?
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to experiment with that at my high school. We have a sports media club that myself and a friend founded about a year or two ago, and we live stream a lot of our games, and it's something that I'm surprised I haven't seen a lot of other schools do. We're a really small Class C school in Maple Hill, and we've been able to stream games from Whitehall all the way down to Hudson, so it's been pretty cool.
Tell us about the future. What do you hope is next after you graduate in June?
Well, my dream school is Emerson College in downtown Boston, but I would just be happy, to get a job in this industry and hopefully make my name somewhere, whether it's back here home or somewhere around the country.
So you're going to apply to Emerson at some point in the near future?
Very near future, yep.
Okay, well, good luck with the application. If you need a reference or anything at all, you please let me know, because with everything you're doing, you'd be a shoo-in as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Dylan, thanks for being here. Enjoy the rest of football season.
Take care.